Hey everyone, in this video I wanted to give you a major blast from the past, so I've prepared the long-awaited power ranking video for the Ben 10 aliens. When you were a kid, sitting down at the absolute break of dawn to turn on Cartoon Network, did your heart start racing the second the Ben 10 theme song began to play? I mean, that intro, that classic Cartoon Network opening. While my mom was yelling at me to get up and get ready for school, I'd still be on the couch in my pajamas, eyes half open, waiting in anticipation to see what Alien X would do on screen. And now, as a 22-year-old university student, I still carry that exact same excitement. Nothing has changed. Welcome back, guys. Today, we are diving into a topic that is both incredibly fun and deeply detailed. We are ranking the undisputedly top 10 most powerful aliens in the Ben 10 universe. But watch out, this ranking is vastly different from the ones you've seen elsewhere. I'm not just going to name an alien and move on. We're going to talk about exactly why they are powerful, what they achieved in the series, and why I believe they belong in this exact spot. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Unfortunately, I hate ads just as much as you do, but your support is absolutely crucial for our channel to grow. If you're ready, let's jump right into the video. 10. Upgrade. Alright, let me explain right away why I'm starting with this alien. The first time I watched him, I think I was in the first grade of middle school. I saw Ben transform into Upgrade and thought to myself, is this it? Is he just some sticky, slimy thing? Yeah, my first impression was that bad. But over time, I realized that Upgrade is a completely underrated alien. Why is he in 10th place? Because in terms of raw power, there are much more terrifying names ahead of him. But his spot on this list is absolutely earned. 9. Chromostone. Guys, let me tell you something about Chromostone. Yes, I know he isn't considered an overwhelmingly powerhouse character, but the abilities he possesses are both destructive and constructive. This alien, in my opinion, is one of the most unappreciated by Ben 10 fans. Why? Because his appearance looks a bit ordinary. A crystallized body, shiny surfaces. At first glance, you're like, okay, this is just like Diamond Head. Why do we even need this guy? But hold on a second. Chromostone can channel any surrounding energy source directly into his body, and he doesn't just use this as a shield, he uses it to blast it right back. Now tell me this, you all know Diagon, right? An interdimensional being possessing literal cosmic powers. And Chromostone was actually able to absorb the energy unleashed by Diagon and fight back against him. That alone is a massive achievement. No other alien had managed to pull that off. Plus, think about this. He served as the key character who single-handedly brought the planet Petropia, meaning the entire race of Tetrax and Diamond Head back to life. That is an intervention capable of reshaping the universe. 9th place is actually quite modest for him, but you'll understand why as we move forward through the list. 8. NRG. Now listen closely right here, because I want to share something that's actually a lesser known detail. NRG is an alien that introduced himself to us in the Ben 10 Alien Force series. For the longest time, we were actually just watching him in his radioactive containment suit form, until we finally got to see the monster inside. The suit is there strictly to prevent him from leaking radiation. But do you know what happens when that armor comes off? The first time I watched that scene, I literally started sweating. What comes out when the armor splits open is a body made of pure radiation. Just standing near him is next to impossible. For ordinary living beings on whatever planet he's on, just being in his vicinity means death. And right here comes a major plot twist. NRG, most terrifying trait isn't that he shoots incredibly powerful lasers or causes radiation bursts. The truly scary part is this. When he feeds on radiation, he can theoretically grow to limitless proportions, and his power escalates. Meaning, the more radiation around him, the stronger he can get. Do you know what that means? It means that, given the right conditions, NRG becomes completely unstoppable. Honestly, his being in 8th place is debatable, but the list keeps going. 7. Feedback. Take a breath here. Did you guys also think, alright, my absolute favorite has arrived when you first saw Feedback? While Feedback isn't my only favorite, he's definitely up there. Back in the 8th grade, when I watched the first episode featuring Feedback, I practically jumped out of my seat. The visual design, the voice, the movements, everything about him was perfect. But where does he stand in terms of power? Do you guys remember Maltrand? One of the most dangerous individuals of the Chronosapien race. An enemy who can bend time at will and manipulate both the past and the future. And what did Feedback do when he faced this giant? He destroyed him directly. On top of that, he also laid waste to a form like Ultimate Humongosaur, which reached a peak in terms of both physical strength and raw power in a single move. And here is the most fascinating part. The series mentions an energy source called the Annihilarch. This source is theoretically powerful enough to destroy the entire universe. Feedback managed to hold and control this exact energy in his hands. Think about it. He held something capable of wiping out the universe, absorbed its energy, and fired it right back at his enemy. So why is he only in 7th place? Because despite all these godlike powers, Feedback has vulnerabilities in his normal form. He holds a specific amount of energy inside him, and if he can't find a source to absorb energy from, his power will eventually run dry. 6. Way Big. Now we've come to my personal favorite. Way Big is officially the largest figure in the Ben 10 universe. And I mean that literally in terms of scale. When he steps onto the scene, he completely fills the screen. My absolute favorite memory is this. One time I was sitting down watching Ben 10 with my friend. While Way Big was fighting the garbage monster, my friend said, "Dude, they are literally the same size. What is Way Big even going to do?" And I said, "Hold on a minute," and showed him the scene where Way Big creates a cosmic vortex with a single move and hurls that monster into deep space. My friend went completely silent, and that silence was enough for me. But the ultimate show of power came during his fight against Diagon. Diagon, who is an interdimensional entity that had enslaved humanity for practically eternity. Way Big brought this insanely powerful being down to earth with his bare hands. He physically stopped an enemy possessing cosmic level power. Some people will definitely argue that he deserves at least 5th or 4th place rather than 6th, and I get it. But the list is moving toward much more hardcore names. 5. Nanomech. Hold on, don't laugh yet. You're going to say, "Bro, Nanomech? Are you kidding us? That tiny little bug?" Yes, that tiny little bug. Before you start roasting me in the comments, let me tell you this. Thanks to his microscopic size, Nanomech can sleep inside massive mechanical structures and bring them crashing down from the inside out. That alone is already a highly powerful reason. But the real kicker is this. Nanomech actually defeated Way Big in a battle. He brought down the number 6 alien on our ranking in a matter of seconds. How? By entering his body and messing with his critical internal vitals, meaning being the biggest doesn't automatically mean you're the strongest. This is actually one of my favorite messages embedded in Ben 10, and Nanomech is the alien that proves it most clearly. Sometimes, being small can be a massive advantage if you know how to use it. So don't be sad if you're on the shorter side, boys. Being small can be an advantage. 4. Gravatack. Guys, when I first saw Gravatack, I genuinely had to think for a second. Is this an alien or a literal planet? Or like a living planet? Because his appearance seriously gives off the vibe that you're looking at a mini globe. His surface is rocky and there are small orbital movements happening around him. And his abilities are exactly the type of things you'd expect from a planet. Gravatack can generate his own localized gravity field. He can pull enemies, objects, or even entire environments into his own orbit and bring them under his total control. Imagine using this in a battle. Your opponent is charging at you to land a hit, and by sheer force of will, you suspend them in mid-air and spin them around. No physical movement required. This alien pulled Ben out of so many impossible situations in the series. And in my opinion, he is the most strategic alien on this list. Possessing the power of control rather than just brute strength carries him straight to 4th place. 3. Clockwork. We've arrived at the Master of Time, and I really don't think he gets praised enough. So I'm going to hype Clockwork up a bit in this video, because Clockwork is truly a topic that needs to be talked about. He can freeze time, he can speed up or slow down a living being's life cycle. Bro, what else does this guy even need to do? He can project a historical hologram of an environment, meaning you can see the past history of a place you've never even been to. He can bring back people who have been completely erased from the timeline. That is insanely cool. Now think about this. When a fight starts, if Clockwork just stops time and the enemy can never move again, what happens? Isn't that theoretically absolute invincibility? Of course, because he isn't used to his full potential in the series. We don't get to see this absolute power. Ben hasn't fully mastered that level of control yet, but conceptually, the power Clockwork holds is practically unstoppable. I actually realized this during my transition into high school. One day while studying, I rewatched that episode and went, wait a minute. Logically, this alien can control everything. He could keep the universe under his thumb. From that moment on, Clockwork occupied a completely different space in my eyes. 2. Atomics. Guys, let me put it this way for Atomics. This alien appeared very few times in the series, but every single time he showed up, he delivered exactly what was expected of him. You want power? He has it. Speed? Check. Durability? Absolutely. He utilizes nuclear energy as pure, raw power. He generates green energy spheres from his hands, and these spheres are so dense that they can burn even the most dangerous entities in the series, like Lord Vriedel and Z's Scare, Ultimate Humongosaur and Ultimate Spider Monkey, meaning the most evolved, strongest forms of the aliens are forced to drop to their knees before Atomics within seconds. What I'm telling you isn't just a theory. These are things that actually happened in the show. As for why Atomics isn't number 1, in terms of power, he is nearly at the absolute apex, yes, but he has some existential dimensional limitations, and those limitations are solved by our number 1 alien. 1. Alien X. And we have arrived at that supreme name. Honestly, talking about Alien X gets me incredibly hyped every single time, because this alien isn't just powerful. From an existential standpoint, he undisputedly stands at the absolute highest peak of the universe. So, what can Alien X do? Pretty much anything. If that answer sounds too vague, let me elaborate. He can recreate the entire universe from scratch. He can intervene in time, space, matter, and energy exactly as he pleases. And he can do all of this just by thinking it, without even moving an inch. Physically, not a single movement is required. He decides it in his mind, and whatever he wants becomes reality. I remember when I was little, watching Alien X scenes, I had to rewind a few times just to grasp what was happening. I'd be like, wait, what did he just do? Because what was being executed was so massive, so abstract, that a child's brain couldn't fully process it. Now, I look at it with an adult mindset, and I'm still like, hold on a second, this is unbelievable. Ben Tennyson not utilizing this alien to his full potential is one of the biggest mistakes in the series, if you ask me. But in certain scenes, we saw exactly how much potential Alien X had, and that was more than enough for us. The number 1 spot could never belong to anyone else. Yes, guys, that is my ranking. So, what does your ranking look like? If you had to pick just one for the number 1 spot, which one would you put there? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. And if this content gave you that nostalgic excitement, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also click the video on the screen to reach my other video where I explain the reasons behind the downfall of Ben 10 and why it's not as popular as it used to be. See you there.